Hello, Lima and gentle beings. In case you didn't hear it, my name is Emilie. How's everybody doing this evening? Great, awesome. You guys are a lot more lively than my last crowd. I got up in front of them and I was like, hey, how's everybody doing? Crickets. Dead. Silence. And then the mortician came downstairs and said, ma'am, I don't think you're allowed to be here. I open my sets that way all the time because I told myself when I was 17, that's how I'd open my jokes and my sets when I became a stand-up comic. And here I am in front of you today as a stand-up comic. Ow! I used to be one of the only lady ones, but then Aunt Megan came to town and switched the scene up. She already has more vagina jokes than I do, so I feel like I gotta pick up the pace. My name is Emilie. I am a millennial. I had a really weird, I keep introducing myself, sorry guys. I had a really weird last year of my 20s. Did anybody else have kind of like a questionable 29th year of life? I can't figure out if it's because I did it in a pandemic or if because my mom decided we would ring in 29 at 4:30 p.m. at Golden Corral for dinner. That's a really confusing thing. You kind of like, you can smell the death there at 4:30. And so your mortality really sinks in. You're like, well, this is supposed to be the best coming years of my life. I don't really know. Little did we know COVID was right around the corner. I used to think that there was a magic of turning 30. I turned 30 in March, and I was very wrong. I still don't know the right Tupperware to pick for my leftovers. I still don't understand insurance, and now I can feel storms coming in my shoulder from a disc golfing accident. So 30 is not all it's cracked up to be, guys. I am making more financially responsible decisions, though. I feel like I'm kind of on a roll with being financially locked up. I recently made a purchase that I felt was very financially responsible. I got a rechargeable vibrator. Yeah, now we're saving money on batteries because C batteries are expensive as fuck, y'all. They're expensive. And it's dual action, so I get more bang for my buck. I also found a way to pinch pennies in healthcare, and I found a very unique gynecologist who doubled in dentistry. Because she'll be giving me a good cervix check and then reach up and just double check there's no cavities on my back molars. It's kind of a 2-for-1 deal. Saves money. I'm all about saving money. Coupons, right? Coupons says that you're an adult. Now I'm saving money. I'm pinching pennies where I can. One of the places that you can't pinch money, though, is on eye care. Eye care. Glasses and contact people out here, let me hear you. What type of fucked up Darwinism bullshit has been bestowed upon us, you guys? That's some bullshit. If I get attacked and I don't have contacts or eyeglasses in, I'm not gonna be able to give a police sketch. Like, I'm fucked. And it was kind of awkward for my first girl-on-girl experience because my partner just thought I was confused. I just couldn't see. I couldn't find it. That's neither here nor there. I couldn't see. I wasn't confused. I just couldn't see. One of the worst things to be blind around, in my opinion, is bugs. Bugs have a they make me feel very vulnerable. If I don't have contacts or eyeglasses in and I see a spot on the wall, I just stare at it to make sure it's not gonna move. Joke's on me, spiders don't move that much, so there's probably spiders all over my house that I just passed off. There was one time in particular where I was attacked by a bug, and it felt very violating. I had gotten out of the shower, I was staring at the mirror, didn't have, again, no vision, preening, and I felt something hit here. And then hit here, and fly up in front of me is a moth. There was a moth getting close to my nether regions, and I couldn't see it. I couldn't find it. I'm wildly swinging a towel around trying to hit this phantom moth and end up losing it in my room. I didn't sleep for 2 days. That's what being blind does to you. I used to, so COVID, right? Everybody's familiar with it. We all know what COVID is, kind of sucks. I used to have a joke where I would say, we need to treat COVID like women's bathrooms, right? Like we treat seedy gas station bathrooms. And I was using the restroom at Mesa Theater the other night, and I was faced with the reality of what a lawless, disgusting place women's bathrooms actually are, and I had to rescind that joke. The floors are always mysteriously wet or covered in like an inch of water. There's toilet paper everywhere. And I bet each and every one of you that I have more best friends whose names I can't remember than most of you. My phone is full of ghost Snapchats of girls that I've added in the bathrooms because we liked each other's hair. It's pretty weird. And when I was this is like some next level stuff of what happens in a girl's bathroom. I was in Mesa Theater, and if you guys have been in, ladies, you've been in Mesa Theater's bathroom, it's small, right? Small bathroom. I go in there, there's another girl in the stall, her friend comes in, she's like, let me in your stall. And the girl's like, no, I'm taking a shit. And the girl goes, no, it's fine, let me in your stall. This girl let her friend in the stall. These stalls, when I sit down, my knees touch the door. So there's a girl taking a shit and another girl in the stall with her. Guys, this is what women's bathrooms are. We can't approach COVID that way. No, we cannot approach COVID the way we approach women's bathrooms. We have to approach it like we did a murder, right? We binge watch murder documentaries all the time. We should be able to have this on hand. Remember everything we touch, wash our hands, wear a mask to protect our identities. It's in the bag. It's in the bag. We got it. But Mesa County recently did the freedom to choose thing, so we all get to go around maskless, and I'm okay with that. But there is something that kind of gave me a cold sweat flashback. I went into a meeting, and the guy goes, don't worry, I'm vaccinated, we don't have to wear masks. And I was immediately transported to a dusky college dorm room where I got my first STD. Because the guy said, don't worry, I'm clean, we don't need to use a condom. It's the new shiesty, guys. It's the new shiesty. Be careful out there. Be real careful out there. I have been at my job for 6.5 years, and it's kind of weird to start realizing all of the details you just know after being in a job for 6.5 years. I know the tension at which to pull the toilet paper so it doesn't rip at every perforated square. I know the footsteps of every single one of my coworkers. It's been a little too long. So I applied for a job in Albuquerque, and everybody's telling me, even the guy who's trying to get me to apply for the job, it's like, it's dangerous out here, so you gotta be careful. Okay, well, let me tell you something, Bill. I look like a linebacker, right? Nobody's gonna fuck with me. I grew up in South Clifton, y'all. Like, south of Patterson, 32 and an 8-year-old. I grew up there. I grew up South Clifton. Yep, nobody's gonna fuck with me. Nobody's gonna fuck with me. It also helps that most of the people who get abducted and snatched are really skinny. Nobody wants to take 2 trips for groceries. I am a 5-trip minimum. Nobody's gonna look at me and be like, we can haul that one off. Easy berry. Even your students, Neil, your students couldn't, no. It's not enough. It's not enough. So I think I'll be fine if I were to go to Albuquerque. One of the cons, though, is that I would move and live alone. I'd have to take all of my 21 houseplants, which I currently have, because I don't want to live alone. So 21 houseplants. I've been trying to train the gnats to do my dishes and sewing, like a modern day Cinderella. It's not going very well. They're just kind of eating my plants. So if anybody has any like gnat remedies, hit me up after the show. Sometimes the first words, because I live alone, sometimes the first words out of my mouth are, Alexa, turn on the lights. Because I don't talk to anybody except for Alexa sometimes. And she came back at me, so the only thing I ever ask her is to play Drake radio or turn on the lights. And she came back at me and was like, am I performing the tasks you're asking correctly? Alexa's out here overthinking, y'all. She's asking me if she's doing things correctly. I only ask you 2 things, girlfriend. You don't need a status report, we good. So it just makes me think that the AI uprising is upon us, so be sure to tell your devices please and thank you. Get on the good side of it. Living alone, I get to do a lot of free things, like walk around naked and masturbate whenever I want.
Yeah!
There was one time I was really getting in the mood with my double action rechargeable vibrator. Set some candles, looked up some porn, clicked it on, really getting into it, and then I felt something hit my hand, hit my vagina, and when I looked down in the silhouette of my vibrator light, guess what I see? A moth. There was a moth that I had lost in my room a couple nights prior, trying to inhabit my vagina. In 2 separate occasions, y'all, a moth was trying to inhabit my vagina. I never wanted to experience that again in the entirety of my life, so I went out and I got a boyfriend. And a girlfriend. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I am polyamorous. I am happily dating a married couple. It's really fun, it's a lot of fun. And at first I thought it was kind of like an organic, like we met in college, we're kind of friends. And they say that they headhunted me, and I was like, well, that's kind of, okay, I've never been headhunted before. But I didn't realize how deep back it had gone. I found out recently. So in college, I used to run cameras for the Grand Junction Rockies. They recently revealed to me that they would come to games and watch me run cameras, but never talk to me. But look, it turned out right. It turned out okay, because while they're a little weird, I'm a little weird too, as in case you couldn't tell. Polyamory teaches you a lot of things. First of all, communication has to be on point, so that's one of the things I'm thankful for. So there's some personal growth. I've also learned that tits are the great equalizer between all sexual orientations, genders, and preferences. Everybody loves titties. Everybody loves a good set of titties, right? Everybody loves to motorboat titties. You motorboat the little ones and you get little angel kisses on your cheeks. You motorboat some big milky mommy knockers and you get your ears cleaned out. It's very good. Or if you get motorboated by somebody with a beard, it's like a street sweeper getting all the bra crumbs. It's like a mutually beneficial service, right? It's good. One of the most common questions we get asked is, how do you fuck? What is sex like in 3 people? How do you fuck? Which really makes me worried for like sexual education in America, because it's the same thing that everybody else does. You just add another element in there. Somebody's hanging around waiting, and then you go tag team and jump in. You know, it's normal. It's normal. It's how you would expect 3 people to fuck, right? We do a lot of normal things like that. A lot of monogamous couples do. We go on bike rides. We really enjoy going on bike rides, walking the dogs. Our boyfriend's bike, my boyfriend, her husband, his bike broke, and the only option left was a tandem. Neither one of us thick bitches like to be on the back of the tandem, so he was riding the tandem around by himself, and it was kind of convenient because we thought if there was ever a 4th, we could just take him home, bring him home with us. Hop on, bud. Let's go. We teach you how we fuck. And everybody thinks that like he has it made with 2 beautiful women who love him. Everybody's like, oh, that's gotta be so lucky. And there are pros. But mostly he just gets told he's wrong in 2 different ways. So he's a master at loading the dishwasher 2 different ways. He gets told where to vacuum 2 different times. It's taxing on him, and he's a very lovely gentleman, but it's not all it's cracked up to be sometimes. My girlfriend is incredibly fashionable. I've learned a lot about fashion from her. And it's got me thinking a lot about kind of overlapping things, right? So I got to thinking, the obvious, if you take lesbians' fashion and youth boys' fashion and drew a Venn diagram, you'd see there's pretty big overlap, right? You could take the same thing with bisexuals and Weird Al Yankovic. Pretty big overlap. You can do the same thing with straight white men and the cast of Trailer Park Boys. Pretty big overlap. Pretty big. Again, I'm very thankful for my partners because I am a weird person, but I've found within my weirdness, I become a beacon for other weirdos to be comfortable and share vulnerable stories with me. One of the most told are poop stories. Don't ask me how, don't ask me why, I just elicit the comfort of people sharing a time when they're very vulnerable with me, when they almost or did shit themselves. And I spent so much time over the course of my 30 years on Earth collecting these poop stories, and I think it's about time that I share one with all of you for all the ones that I've collected. So being in a threesome, we fuck, right? And sometimes you want to have a little extra of spice, right? So you put on fancy undergarments to make the undressing fancy. I recently learned you should not fuck on taco night. Taco night is not a good time to fuck. Because you think after dinner you're gonna get undressed, right? What you're not ready for is the Play-Doh fun factory that's fixing to happen in your lacy panties. So needless to say, throuple fucking on taco night was cut real short. Cut real short. That wasn't a pretty sight for anybody. And the worst part of that story is it's not even mine, and y'all can't trust me with shit. Have a good night, everyone.